Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'akol niyeh bidvaro. There are two elements that Passover, Pesach, commemorates. One is the end, finished, no more slavery. The second element is liberation. Came out as a free people. You were formed into a new nation. So in Pesach, there are two basic elements that we do in order to commemorate these two events. One is we do certain things, and another thing is we talk about them. What do we do on Pesach? The first night of Pesach, when we celebrate the Seder, we eat matzah, which is unleavened bread. Just as our ancestors, when they left Egypt, they had no time to permit that the dough rise, so we also eat flat breads that night. We also eat maror, which are bitter herbs, in order to remind ourselves of the bitterness in Egypt. It wasn't easy in Egypt at all. We will do many things today in order to remind ourselves of that. But one thing we won't do. While the temple was in existence, there was a sacrifice called the Korban Pesach that was offered on the eve of the celebration of the Seder. Everybody had to offer that, and they would cook it directly on the fire. And this is why we don't eat anything that is cooked directly on the fire today at the Seder, because we don't want to be confused. Lest some people think that we are really eating the sacrifice. It can't be done anymore because there is no Beit HaMikdash. But that was very important. Today, of course, we don't have the Korban Pesach, so matzah is very important. This unleavened bread, maror, the bitter herbs are very important. But that isn't all that we do the night of the Seder. We also talk, because the Torah says, "Vehigadeta levincha bayom hahu lemor." You will tell your children, your son, on that night what happened in those days. So it's not only through symbols, it is also through talking. And remember, in the Bible, talking, saying is very important. God created the world by speech. It says, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. And that is the basic difference between a human being and animals. Man has the ability to talk. So the night of Pesach, it is very important to remember the meaning of that day. Not only to eat the bitter herbs, not only to eat the matzah, but also to make a review of everything that happened, because to be independent is something that is very precious. And it isn't something that is necessarily lasting, because we will say in the Haggadah, Bechol dor vador omdim aleinu lechalotenu. In every generation, they try to annihilate us. Didn't Achashverosh and Haman in the story of Purim try to do that? Didn't Hitler in last century try to do that, obliterate, as he unfortunately was able to assassinate a third of the Jewish people? But even not only us, there are many other peoples, nations that suffer discrimination, that don't have their independence. And even in a family life, there is also that problem. Many a time a father is ruthless. Sometimes a husband is very strict with his wife and does not respect the quality, the human quality of independence that every one of us should have. There are different ways of enslaving people. Years ago, maybe it was with force, but today sometimes with laws and all kinds of subterfuges, you are able to enslave people. So let us be very careful. Be very proud of the freedom that you have gained, and make sure that you continue to defend it. Because once you have it, don't think it is forever. If you for one moment look away, remember, Bechol dor vador, in every generation, at every moment, there's somebody that is trying to take away part of your freedom. Fight for it, because this is what is God given to every human being, and this is the dignity that we have, and this is really the meaning of having been created in the image of God.